Hello children, welcome to Nischals Smart Learning Solution. My name is Banala Jaya Raj, biology teacher, and today we will discuss class 8 Nischals integrated biology textbook, and that book is having 166 pages and also 12 chapters are there. And I am reading each and every chapter that are given in our textbook, Nischals Integrated Bio textbook. What is saying? Cell, the basic unit of life, and story of microorganism 1, story of microorganism 2, reproduction in animals, reaching the stage of adolescent, biodiversity and conservation, different ecosystem, production of food from plants, production of food from animals, and not for drinking, not for breathing. Why do we fall ill like that? There are 12 chapters are there, and now we are discussing the scientific terms which are given at the end of this book. And first, you see the presence of a scientific term in glossary, and that is microscope. So, microscope is a device. Microscope is an instrument, and this instrument is used to observe. So, which are the organisms which are not observed by means of our eyes, which are naked to the eyes, and they are not visible with our eyes, and those organs are seen with the help of this device, and this is called as a microscope. This is called a microscope. There you see, it is a device, it is an instrument, and that is useful to produce a magnified image of objectives too small to be seen with the help of with the naked eye. So that is called as microscope. And second one, you see, experiment. So we are doing many activities and many experiments. So during the process of teaching the concept, so here you see a test for the presence of a starch in leaf in the form of activity, and this activity is having some steps. So I am reading each and every step that are there in a experimental process. There you see aim, middle required, precautions, procedure, observation, conclusion, that is inference, like that we are observing. We need to follow these steps. So here you are observing the presence of a, a small plant and you leaves, and also you see presence of that is a test tube which is having methyl spirit and also beaker, and we need to boil the the test tube, and the test tube is having a leaf that is well exposed to sunlight, and if we eat the leaf which is kept in methyl spirit, and it loses its color and finally become pale color, and that leaf you to take out and keep it on a petri dish, and if you add a few drops iodine, and that leaf turned to bluish black, and that reveals that tells that the leaf is having what starch. So this is a test for the starch. So here an experiment is having some steps, and they are aim, metal required, precautions, procedure, observation, conclusion, like that. These are called as experimental steps. And now you see chapter 2, and there is the presence of a cell. So cell is a structure, and these are called as structural and functional units of living organism. So we observe cells both in plants and animals. So here living world, living organism are made up of cells. So some of them are called as microbes. They are having only one cell, unicellular, having all the cell organelles, and multicellular organisms have many cells, and they are constructed with the cells. They are organized to form tissues organized to form organs, organs organized to form organ system, and organ system organized to form an organism. So here structural and functional unit of life is called as a cell. Here you are observing cell wall. So cell wall is present in case of plant cell only, and it is the outermost part, and cell wall is absent in case of animal cells. And there you see a rigid layer seen around the bacterial and also plant cell that confer the shape and the strength of the cell. So here cell wall we observe in case of bacteria and also in case of plant cell. It is a rigid layer. And again you see the presence of cell membrane. Cell membrane is present both in plant cell and as animal, and it acts as a semi-permeable membrane, and it allows certain substance to get in and some of the substance to get out, and that is called as a cell membrane. It is also called as a plasma membrane. So it is selectively membrane that control the movement of substances in and out of the cell. And now you are observing vacuoles. So vacuole is a cell organelle, and vacuoles are large in size in case of plant cell, and vacuoles also present in case of animal cells, and these are having some of the waste materials. So here vacuole is a cell organelle. So there you see it is a fluid filled space cavity within the cytoplasm. So it is present in the cytoplasm of plant cell, bigger in size. In case of animals also present, but they are small in size. Next you see chloroplast. So this is the chloroplast. So chloroplast is a three membranous structure, and the third membrane form as stalks, and there is stalks are there, and these stalks are called as thylakoids and grana, and grana are connected by means of stroma lamellae, grana lamellae, and these grana consist of chlorophylls and other pigment molecule, and these perform photosynthesis, and that is the reason chloroplasts are the important cell organelles which are present in plants, and these chloroplasts are performing a life process, and that is called as photosynthesis. And there you see an organelle of the plant cell which is the site for photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is important life process, and this life process helps to, that is produce what food in the form of glucose, and later the glucose is converted to carbohydrate. And next you see nucleus. So here nucleus is present at the center of the cell in case of animal cell, and in case of plant cell it is present that is peripheral to the cell, that is plasma membrane, and nucleus is called as a control room, and it consists of chromatin, chromosomes are present, and you see organelle containing genetic material control the center of all major activities, and that is called as nucleus. And now you are observing chapter 3rd, the presence of a bacteria. So bacteria is a protozoan, and it consists of only one cell, and it is a prokaryote, and here it is having genetic material, and these genetic material are not surrounded by the nuclear membrane. So that is the reason it is called as a prokaryote bacterial cell. A single cell prokaryote microorganism, an algal form. Here you see Spirogyra, and here the Spirogyra is having chloroplast, it performs photosynthesis, and it is an algal form, and here it reproduces by means of that fragmentation, and simple thalide chlorophyll bearing and autotrophic organism, they can perform photosynthesis. Now you are observing another one, protozoa. So protozoans are unicellular organism, and they consist of only one cell, and you see any of algal group of single cell, usually microscopic and eukaryote. Why? Because so they consist of nuclear material, and these nuclear materials are covered or enclosed by a membrane, and that is called as a nuclear membrane. And if nuclear membrane is present around the genetic material, and that is called as a eukaryote, and prokaryotes are not having nuclear membrane and genetic material floating in the protoplasm. So that is the difference between eukaryote and also prokaryote. So here any large group of single cell, usually microscopic eukaryotic organism such as amoeba, ciliates, flagellates, and protozoans. And now you are observing virus. So virus are causing diseases, and it consists of nuclear material, genetic material, an organelle containing genetic material and controlled center of all major activities. And also we discuss HIV virus. So here it is having reverse transcriptase enzyme, protease, and most all these viruses are causing, that is disease to living organism. Now you are observing fungi. This is fungi. So fungi, they are saprophytes. They digest the food outside the body, and they are multicellular, and they are saprophytes. They absorb the digested food through the body surface. So here see organisms that obtain nutrient from the decomposing organic matter. Mushrooms are fungi, and yeast cells also belong to fungi. And you see chapter 4, penicillium, it also fungi. So there you see penicillium is a type of fungi belong to the group Ascomycetes, and they produce asexual spores by means of conidia. And there is a conidial spores and conidia, and these are formed by means of asexual reproduction and from penicillium notatum. So we are extracting penicillin, that is a chemical, and that is a antibiotic. And now we are observing rhizobium. So here you are observing leguminaceae plant roots, and these roots are having root nodules, and these root nodules are having bacteria, rhizobium bacteria, and these rhizobium bacteria fix atmosphere nitrogen gases, nitrogen to nitrate, and these nitrates are used by the plants. So here both plants and these microbes are get benefited, and this type of relation is called as symbiosis. So it is this nitrogen fixing bacteria and converts atmospheric nitrogen nitrate, and nitrates are used by the plant for their growth, and plants are giving shelter and food to the rhizobium. In this way both the organisms are living together, and that condition is called as symbiosis. Nitrogen fixing bacteria found in the soil that form symbiotic association with the legume plants. And now you are observing microorganism. So here microorganisms are minute, and they are microscopic. Already we discussed bacteria, virus and fungi like yeast cells, and they are having only one cell, and they cannot be seen with the help of naked eye. So they can be seen with the help of microscope, and they are called as microorganism, and most of these microorganisms are unicellular. A general term used for bacteria, viruses, unicellular and algae, and protozoans and microscopic fungi, which are all microscopic or ultra microscopic size, and they are very very small and microscopic. Now you are observing chapter 5, binary fission. So binary fission is a sexual mode of reproduction, and generally we observe in case of amoeba and paramecium, and thereby the animal divided two halves, and thereby two halves are getting same amount of, that is material, genetic material, cytoplasm, and that division is called as binary fission. There you see a type of asexual reproduction involving splitting of parent cell into two daughter organism, and this division is called as binary fission. Now you are observing another term, budding. So here children you are observing budding. Hydra is there. So hydra, they are living in marine zones attached to the substratum rocks. So they have body, and they are producing what outgrows from their body surface, and these outgrowth they develop into small hydrae. They get separate and lead independent life, and these type of asexual reproduction, formation of outgrowth birds, this is called budding. So here a form of asexual reproduction in living earth in which new individuals form outgrowth on the body of a mature organism, and that is called as budding. So outgrowths are developed, and these outgrowths they may separate and lead independent life, and these birds are called as budding, and formation of budding helps in giving new offspring. So in case of hydra, in case of yeast cell. Now you are observing sperm. So this is a human sperm. So male humans, when they are getting adolescents and reproductive organs are mature, and testes are producing male gametes, and these male gametes called a sperm. A sperm consists of head and middle piece and tail, and you see motile male gamete produced by the testes. And now you are observing egg. So here egg is also called ovum, and female are producing egg every month through by means of ovulation, and this egg consists of haploid nucleus, only one set of chromosomes are present. So it is a non-motile female gamete. It is also called as ovum. And fertilization, the term fertilization is giving an information that there is a fusion of male and female gametes and lead to the formation of zygote, and that process is called as fertilization. There you see the process of fusion of male and female gametes resulting in the formation of a diploid zygote, which is then undergo division, they form as a embryo, and that is called as fertilization. Now you are observing sixth chapter, that is reaching the stage of adolescent. So what is adolescent? It is a phase of life in case of human being, and there you see reproductive organs are matured, and that stage is called as adolescent stage. Now you are observing a pituitary gland, and pituitary gland is a tiny gland. It is the size of a small pea seed, and it is attached underside of the brain at the bottom of the brain. It is also called as master endocrine gland, and it is controlling the functions of all other endocrine glands. So that is the reason this pituitary gland is called as a master endocrine gland. So there you see master gland of the endocrine system located at the base of the brain. Now you are observing another one, and diet. So what is diet? The food that we consume in day to day life, and that food is called as a diet. A kind of food that is consumed on a regular base is called as a diet. Chapter 7. What is flora? The term flora is indicate plants. So flora means plants, and fauna means animals. So flora, the collective term applied to all of the plants present in an area, that is flora. And fauna, the collective term which is applied for the animals. So that is called fauna. Flora for plants, fauna for animals. And endemic species. Endemic species are the special type of life living organism. They are present in certain areas of the world. For example, polar bears and polar penguins and kangaroos, and they live and survive only certain areas of the world, and these animals are called as endemic species. Plants and animals which are found exclusively in a particular area, and these animals and plants are called as endemic species. Now we are observing another term, that is endangered. Endangered means they are near to extinction, and their number is less. For example, lions, tigers, and many animals, many plants, they are about to extinct, and in a short period, they may be completely vanished from the earth's surface. And those animals are called as endangered. Animals whose members are diminishing, and their number is less, and to a level that there might be extinction for in near future, and those animals and plants are called as endangered species. Now you are observing here, actually plant is given, but here we need to give what animals. So animals are living organisms. Animals are called as consumers, and they depend on other for food, for plant source of food and also animal source of food, and those organisms are called consumers. They are heterotroph, they are not preparing the food, but actually here plant is given, but here you please have an image that, so here animals should be given. So there are heterotrophs, they feed on food synthesized by the autotrophs. So autotrophs are the plants. Now you are observing producers. So actually the heterotrophs are given, animals are given. Producers are the plants, and plants are preparing food, and these plants prepared food is once again consumed by animals. So here plants are called as producers. And you are seeing another term, that is photosynthesis. Plants are called as autotrophs, and they are green in color. They have chloroplast. They prepare food by themselves, and there are four factors are necessary for photosynthesis: carbon dioxide, sunlight, water, chlorophyll. In